Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome to the Lucas J Show. A little bit of a different tack for you tonight, but I promise it'll be fun. I promise it'll be high energy, so stick around in a little bit.
A man who all year long wanted just one show with his name on it. Today, that wish becomes a reality, where darkness meets those of the shadows. This is the Twilight Zone.
Welcome back, folks. Normally we start off with Dan K's three things, but since it's the Lucas J Show, this week I've got stuff I want to talk about. Stuff number one, we have upsets galore this week. The Springfield Picks 18U beat Select's Academy in overtime. It was like Russia in the Battle of Stalingrad, just getting attacked from all sides, completely surrounded. You have that enemy coming into your ranks, and you hold fast, you stick it out to the end, you outlast, you outplay, and you outwin. Great job by the Springfield Picks. Nice job beating Select's Academy. Second stuff, Fan Appreciation Night. We just got back from Virginia, and it was pretty crazy. My brain was a little frazzled on Sunday because it's weird to think that you're in Virginia for about 24 hours and you make that drive and then you come all the way back. But we had a great time. The folks down there, they were just absolutely incredible. It's that Southern hospitality at its finest, and there was some great hockey, and we'll dive into that a little bit later. Third, we have a little bit of an announcement to make regarding Louisville, and we'll get to that. I'll let Dan jump in and make that announcement formally, but hang on for a few seconds there, folks. And last but not least, playoffs. The playoffs are rolling into town. Time is a wheel that never stops turning, and it is almost time to start grinding that wheel towards playoff time. Teams are getting ready. We're going to have an interview with Coach Jim Henkel a little bit later in the show about the Connecticut Junior Rangers, and that elite premier playoff picture is starting to develop. But for now, I'm going to introduce my co-host on the show, my left-hand man, Dan K. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing good. This is going well so far. I've never been this quiet for this long on camera.
Yeah, it's straight. I've never talked this much. I've never had to be this. But
there's a lot of nihilism in your first speech. The wheels of time never stop churning. A lot of that, but I like it so far. I like it.
Yeah, well, people wanted to hear the real Lucas J, and so you're going to get a little history. You're going to get a little overzealous metaphors happening, but I think we'll all make it together. But Dan, why don't you start off with the Louisville announcement?
Yeah, we're going to make a huge announcement right now, and it drops. I mean, we've been in discussions for the last couple weeks. This has been in the workings. The TSCHL, their conference tournament will be presented by the Dan K Show. Lucas Jones, Dan K, producer Elena, the whole team will be out in Louisville, Kentucky, Friday, February 22nd through Sunday, February 24th for the conference tournament of the TSCHL D2 hockey right there. Louisville, Ohio State University, Ohio University, Bowling Green in this conference, University of Dayton, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Some great teams as well as University of Louisville will all be in attendance with the Dan K Show on each and every broadcast throughout the weekend.
Yeah, we're really, really excited to get down there. This is, just a huge opportunity, and we're excited to get to work, and, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But, it kind of, makes you think, right, about how the way hockey has kind of moved across the entire country, and, I think it bears worth noticing, maybe the origins of the game of hockey, right? And I think to really get into the origins of the game of hockey, you got to go back. You got to go way back to, let's go where history really started with. And we're just going to keep on moving forward here, and we're going to get to the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. And there's a landmark document for, the rights of individuals as it pertains to living under the monarchy in Britain, and that document would eventually become the foundation of such a longer line of documents in that realm.
And now we're gonna keep moving forward here, Dan. We're gonna keep on going to 1492, a little year where Columbus sailed the ocean blue, bringing that Anglo-Saxon methodology over to the New World, where it kind of mixed and mingled. You get a little bit of both sides there, right? With the Native Americans who were living here, and the games that they played, a primitive form of lacrosse, and the game of stick and puck had its humble beginnings there. We continue to fast forward. We're continuing to move forward here, Dan. Stay with me. I know you're getting sleepy, but stay with me here. We're moving forward to the 1700s and the beginnings of history in 1776. We had a rebirth with the birth of America as a nation, and that Revolutionary War, founded right at the seeds of the attitude of hockey. That sort of rebellious streak that hockey players tend to have, that kind of a devil-may-care attitude towards their own health and safety, and I think that's what laid the foundation for the modern game of hockey. But before we get there, let's just jump a little bit farther ahead to the war between Britain and the United States, the War of 1812. Burned down the White House, and that's actually where the White House got its beginnings. Let me back up a little bit more here to run the.
And Dan, that's, I think a really brief history of the game of hockey, but I think it's worth mentioning for the folks at home.
I agree.
Perfect. You can't get any better than I agree. Now I know why Dan loves me as a co-host so much. I zone out and tell him I agree with whatever he says, which is absolutely perfect. But I'll tell you what, Dan. Let's move over to something a little more recent, a little more present on everyone's mind. Let's go to the NCDC, where we had a pretty big upset there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you had a huge weekend here. The New Hampshire Junior Monarchs get a huge upset victory over the Jersey Hitmen. And this is what it's like to be the Jersey Hitmen, right? To be the Jersey Hitmen at this point, a team sweeping the weekend from you, it's huge. It's huge news. But you still get the weekend split. If you're the Jersey Hitmen, you get 1 out of 2. You come off of a 19-game winning streak. You're 20-1 in your last 21 games. That's nothing to shake a stick at.
Definitely not. But I think what it shows to the rest of that NCDC division is, there's a way, right? No one is unstoppable in this NCDC division, and the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs have shown that. Like you said, the Hitmen have been on a streak, the Bruins have been on a streak. New Hampshire finding their footing, but still managing to stay in it. But they better find that footing quickly, because we have an absolute slew of teams underneath them who have been on streaks as well. Connecticut Junior Rangers, who we'll hear from after this segment, a coach from Jim Henkel, but Boston Bandits, Northern Cyclones, Islanders Hockey Club, Syracuse Stars round out your top 8. Let's look at the Cyclones, IHC, and Syracuse. Northern Cyclones, 8-1-1 in their last 10. IHC, 7-3-0 in their last 10. 8-2-0 for the Syracuse Stars. Are you seeing any more shifting that might go on as we kind of get towards the end here?
As you go through it, you're seeing the Cyclones, teams start to rise to the top. They start to rise to what they are. I still think IHC has some things to work out, right? They're a younger team, a newer team. You look at the Cyclones, I always look at a team that can play defense. Late in the year, come playoff time, a team that plays the best defense tends to be very tough to beat. And the Cyclones team, goals allowed wise, very similar to the Bandits, very similar to IHC, very similar to its counterparts in the area. But as of late, DeFazio, these guys are Tom Borshop, Artie as we call them. These guys have been settling in, getting to where they need to be. And Bill Flanagan's mantra, his motto, and Tommy Smith on the mic, the pipes on the mic there, the play-by-play guy, really getting it done. Right now you can look at it, what Toby Harris has done with the Jersey Hitmen. Impeccable, stupendous, incredible. You can't say enough about Toby Harris, Jim Hunt, and the Jersey Hitmen. But down the road there, Bandits, Cyclones, IHC, and Stars all can put it in the back of the net. But it's going to be, I would say the Cyclones of those teams right now are the most dangerous to me.
If you think about it, the Syracuse Stars are only 9 points behind the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs.
Yeah.
9 points separating 8 from third is a really great thing to see in a division getting towards the end here. And that those lower teams battling, the Northern Cyclones, we talk about that goal differential, right? And that goal differential has just been steadily climbing up. They're at a -4 right now, but the way they play defense, we talk about how you have to discount earlier in the season as you continue to move through, and I think lately they've proven that they can play offense just as well as defense.
That's exactly right, and that's what you're going to need come the end of the year, right? You need third-line scoring. You need guys who can get the puck out of your zone on the penalty kill. You need to have a full team effort, and you need to feel like you can trust your top guy with whoever might be your bottom guy, right? Those younger guys, those guys who are new to it. You need to be able to trust each and every one. You need to have 2 netminders you can trust. And there are a lot of teams right now in this division that have that, but the handful at the top, and you see a team with a guy like Matt Pasquale in the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs, they can compete with anybody.
Yeah, now we're going to shoot to an interview with coach of the Connecticut Junior Rangers, Jim Henkel. Connecticut Junior Rangers right now, if the NCDC is Normandy Beach, the Connecticut Junior Rangers are the Allied Expeditionary Forces, and they're about to land on D-Day. So let's go to that interview. Now I'm joined by Connecticut Junior Rangers coach Jim Henkel, who's slowly becoming a very regular fixture on the Dan K Show, and somebody we're very lucky to have. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem, Lucas. Congratulations on your hosting of the Lucas J Show in lieu of the Dan K Show, just for the week, so nobody gets upset and concerned.
Yeah, just for the week there.
Just for the week. It's good to see Dan's paying up on his bets. Nothing worse than somebody that makes a bet and doesn't follow up with it. So it's good to see him paying up on that.
Oh, definitely. We've got a couple more bets coming down the line, especially for one big one for the playoffs that I'm not excited for. But we'll keep the folks in the dark a little bit longer on that. But so let's talk about the Connecticut Junior Rangers. So we've kind of been following your progress throughout the season, and you've been steadily moving up. And I talked to you a little bit at the Christmas break, and you said looking ahead, we're excited about where we're going. And you've kind of followed through on that. So talk about your rise through the standings of the NCDC.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good start for the second year in a row. And then what I really like this year versus last year is our resistance factor. Last year we had a great start, and then we struggled a little bit. We played some really good opponents. We lost some games, and then from there we never really found our footing. And we kind of went 500 the rest of the year, big playoff win, and then just didn't have enough left in the tank against IHC last year. Really good squad. This year it's been a lot different. We had some resistance. We have some guys that have found a way to step up and kind of turn the tide in a positive manner for us. We lost 5 in a row, 6 of 7. The players had a player meeting. The older guys came up and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna right the ship here. Let us handle it." And we've got really good character guys in that locker room. And sure enough, came out, find a way to get a win against the Rockets. Played really well against the Bruins, but lost. And then found a way to beat the Bruins again. And that was kind of what our turning point was at that point of the season. And then obviously we made a significant run in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which really kind of catapulted us up the standings. And we've had a good start, not a great start to the new year. We're looking to kind of get in a little bit better of a rhythm. We've got some new faces. We got hit with the injury bug pretty significantly. Guys are starting to get healthy again. But I like our resistance in the locker room and our ability to kind of face it head on and not run from it. And I think, that's going to be a determining factor going forward for us is, nothing is easy. No game's easy, as you can tell from this past weekend. I think we had splits across the board. And with that being said, every game counts. Every game means something. And every game's a challenge. There's no easy games in this league. If you look at the standings from, I want to say 3rd down to 9th, I want to say if all games are equal and teams win those games in hand, I want to say it's a 4-point difference from 3rd to 9th, which means every game means something, which is a testament to the league and the parity and how we're looking to kind of grow and what direction this league's going in.
Yeah, it certainly does take a little bit of a mental toughness down the stretch, especially with the league as close as it is. Does that mental toughness, does that come from the players first? Is that something that comes from the coaches in your locker room, or is it a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. A lot of it is past experiences. If it's always been easy, anytime you get some kind of resistance, kids have a tendency to look for the area of least resistance, which sometimes is, hey, I want out. Sometimes it's, I'm going to go, hide behind the next guy, let him handle it, and then I'll come in, and when it's an even battle, I'll come in and I'll make it an advantage for us type of mentality. As far as I'm concerned, where they've come from, the hardships they've gone through, the level of hockey they played, all plays a role in it. And then I think the staff here, it's a mindset. It's a mentality that we've kind of driven home since training camp, that we weren't going to let them take the easy way out. We did some things differently this year in camp than we've done in the past. We do things on a weekly basis that are different than we've done in the past. And I think it just makes them stronger mentally. And when things come up that aren't perfect, they're able to adapt and be okay with it.
Let's talk a little bit about the not the All-Star game per se, but kind of the fallout from it, right? So you had a lot of scouts in the building, and for your players and for the players and parents that you talk to, how do people view that All-Star game? Do they view it as a bit of a success from a scouting perspective?
We do. We obviously this year we've performed really well in the big moment. The guys really stepped up between the forwards, goaltending, we really had a good push from our group personally. Obviously with the team winning, but statistically we showed up on the score sheet a good amount of times to make a big difference in the outcome of the game. Typically for our group, when we've shown up in those games or big showcases, when we had people coming to watch, we've kind of faltered a little bit. And that wasn't the case. With that being said, some guys got a little bit more traction with some colleges, which is always great to see, always great to have. Some of these guys got a few more options now than they didn't have prior to it. Now it's up to them to kind of sort through some of the extra information and schools that have come in. In addition to that, it's up to them to continue to perform, especially in the big moments going forward. In addition to that, there's more people coming to the game, which opens the doors for some other guys on our team that weren't in the All-Star game, which is always a benefit for us. So hopefully we can get kids set up for the right area and have them attend the right school and have them be a success.
You say the right school. Is it? It's really all about finding the right school as opposed to a school for a lot of these players.
It really is. Our biggest thing going forward and talking about school placement and where you want to be and what you want to do. There's 100 suitors out there between the Division I, the Division III, you have the ACHA, which is the club teams. They're out. They're all out. They're all looking. They're all trying to find a great player. We have a lot of very good players in our program. When it comes to picking a school, we sit and we talk about a lot of different things. As a coach, the way I look at it is there's 4 pieces to the puzzle. You have the athletic side where you have to make sure you're going to go to a school that you're going to be able to play at. The next piece of the puzzle is the social side. Well, they usually go hand in hand, in my opinion, because when you walk on campus as an athlete, you're automatically ingrained with, hockey per se, 25 other guys, 27 other guys. So you have instant friends walking on outside of anybody else you meet or get to know of between roommates and people that live on your hall. Then you got the social setting is taken care of. And then you go to the next piece of the puzzle, which is the academic side. It's very hard to go and be successful on the athletic side if you struggle academically consistently. So we take that into account when we're talking about schools. And then the last piece of the puzzle is the financial, which is always the tricky part. Can we make it work? Is the education worth? Is that value there for them to spend certain kinds of money to go to schools? And then, if you have the other 3 pieces of the puzzle, the financial side of it usually just falls into place. But the right fit, go where you're wanted. Don't try to pigeonhole yourself into a situation where, hey, I really want to go there. They're lukewarm on you. And then you jump, head first and going, I'm in, and you get there and it's not what you wanted it to be because you made it out in your head to be something it wasn't. So it's something that we have to talk through with our players often about is, hey, listen, do you really take hockey out of the equation? Is this someplace you really want to be? Is this a school you really want to go to? And if it is, great. Because you can go there and not play hockey ever. You can go there and get hurt and your hockey career could be over. Is this someplace you want to be for 4 years?
Yeah, it's definitely great advice for a lot of hockey players out there. Before I let you go, Coach, as we all know, Sunday is I think for trademark reasons we have to call it the big game. I don't know if we're allowed to refer to it by its proper trademarked name. I don't know if we have the financial resources for that. So 2 quick questions for you: who do you got in the game? And is there a snack that you have to have at your Super Bowl party?
Snack is probably the easy one. You got to have wings. I think that's a no-brainer. It's wings, blue cheese, of course, and then you got to have some vegetables with it. A little celery, some carrots, maybe some nachos. I'm a big snack guy, so we really don't make a meal on Super Bowl Sunday. It's wings and chili and nachos, and it's all the unhealthy stuff all in one day, and you spend the next 5 days trying to get over it. Who do I have? I don't know. It's a tough one. Everybody said, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to run away with it. Watching the game and seeing Brady, and he loves to be the underdog. And right now he is the underdog. even though you can't say that. He's been there. He's got the experience. You got an experienced quarterback on the other side, an experienced coach in the big game on the other side. It'll be interesting to see how the man in the hoodie shows up. He always finds a way to be unpredictable, but very predictable with his play. So seeing Tom put out some of the videos he's put out and listen to him talk, he's riding pretty high. So I'm hard pressed to go against Brady in the big one. So I'm probably going to lean towards them.
Well, Coach, thank you again for taking time out of your day to talk with us, and I'm sure we'll be doing this again as the playoffs get closer.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Lucas. I appreciate it. Dan, it's just a hiatus for 1 week. We'll look back to having you this next week, and look forward to having you guys back in Stanford soon.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a good day.
That was a great interview. We always love talking to Jim Henkel, and I think the more broadcasts we can get that guy on, I think the better off we'll be.
I think so too. As long as I don't know if Jim's a big Dan K fan right now. I think Jim. I gotta tell you, I have picked with the Connecticut Junior Rangers since I started with the Philadelphia Flyers junior hockey team. I remember the first show I did with the Philadelphia Flyers junior hockey team. We were picking who we think would win, and I was with 4 panel guests who all worked with the Flyers junior hockey team. All of them picked the home team. I picked the Connecticut Junior Rangers to win a title, and I made some enemies at the time. I love my Connecticut Junior Rangers, but I went the wrong way in the All-Star game, and you see the world it's created for me.
Well, we'll have to see how that shakes out. I hope Jim's not too mad at you for that one, but maybe he'll find room in his heart to forgive you. But let's move on right now. Dan, while America was growing, the Midwest was the gateway to the riches, the exploration, the foundation of the West, what they called manifest destiny, the idea that because we had landed in America and there was all of this land, that it all belonged to us. And whether that seems like a reasonable idea or not, that's kind of how it was, right? So the gateway to the West was the Midwest, and I think the gateway to some good hockey also happens to be in the Midwest. So we're going to go there right now. We've got some big news out of the Midwest, including a sweep.
Yeah, we had a sweep this week, and we had a few sweeps this weekend. One of them coming from the Minnesota Moose. Another Decatur Blaze sweep this weekend. We'll look at that in the empty net because we have some video we want to show you. But for now, let's stick with the Minnesota Moose, who sweep their in-state rivals, the Blue Ox. A Blue Ox team that is always, always very difficult. Sitting in 4th place right now. This is a Moose team that everything points to them being the cream of the crop in that Midwest West, except for the standings, because the Hudson Havoc cannot be caught.
Well, you know what they say, they're the cream of the crop, and the cream always rises to the top.
I thought you were about to do jump on the cream of the crop. I can't think of the words of the song. It's what's the name of that band? Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. You don't know that song. It's your show. I can't be referencing rap songs then.
Well, terrible song references aside, folks, I'm going to stick with my my Macho Man Randy Savage impression and just say, the cream of the crop, and the cream always rises to the top. And I think we're going to see the Minnesota Moose at or near the top of this division. I mean, you look at the top 3 teams right now, you can look at a bunch of different factors. You can look at the goal differentials. You can look at their overall records. But I think the thing that is going to be the biggest factor in the Midwest West is the last 10 games of the season. And the reason because I look over at that last 10 games column, the top 3 teams right now, Hudson Havoc 8-2-0 in their last 10. Minnesota Moose 7-3-0 in their last 10. Wisconsin Rapids River Kings 8-2-0 in their last 10. We've had so much trouble in the Midwest West picking all season for our Premier Power Rankings. I think because we've discounted the heat streaks that these teams have, and they get on a roll. I mean, they just keep on going, it seems like.
Yeah, and just to reference that lyric one more time, on the cream of the crop, I rise to the top. That is from the song Jump Around, sung by House of Pain. House of Pain, Jump Around.
I've never heard of that band before.
Jump around. Well, they're not really a band. They're more of just two guys.
A loose collection of
guys
musicians
yelling about jumping around. Mostly, became famous in the movie Mrs. Doubtfire, starring Robin Williams. But yeah, we go back to this as we're talking. Lucas says, chalk this up. Add it to the counter of times Dan K didn't turn his volume off. Did he do it on purpose this time? Maybe he did. Maybe he did. But I look at the Decatur Blaze there in the Midwest East. I look at the Chicago Cougars and Motor City Hockey Club. I look at a couple teams that haven't lost in a while in the Midwest East, and I see that there's going to be an opportunity for somebody in that Midwest East to make a jump. And the Decatur Blaze, if someone's going to jump into that top 2 with the Motor City Hockey Club in Chicago, make a trip to the finals, make a trip to nationals, Decatur looks to be that squad.
Yeah, they're led by some great scorers as well. TJ Dugan, 51 points in the season. Your top 3 scorers averaging over a point per game. TJ Dugan, Scott Worgan, and Cade Sogling. I mean, these 3 have just been incredible. You know, they do it on the power play. They do it even strength as well. And you talk about the team that's hot like the Cougars. I mean, you've got them pulled up over there, Dan.
Yep, and you look at Braden Heminger, and again, TJ Dugan. TJ Dugan is one of the best guys in hockey for the Decatur Blaze, and you gotta watch him. We get videos sent from him, from No Filter Dave all the time with TJ Dugan vids, man. The guy gets the job done. He's a heady player. He plays the game right, and he makes the big play. He also makes the smart play, and it's important to be able to make both of them. But you look at Braden Heminger, you look at Tristan Hillebert, you look at John Vandervalk III. This is a team that when they do it all right, can keep a game low scoring and get a win. And that's how they're going to have to win games come postseason. They're going to have to play a defensive-minded game. They're going to have to physically up, and they're going to have to keep the game under control. They don't want to get into a run battle. They don't want to be running with you. You don't want to be a sprint game. This isn't a transition team. We watched Hampton Roads take on Richmond, right? They're going to fit more the Richmond role than the Hampton Roads role in any battle they play with a big team. It's going to be Hampton Roads wants to get out. They want to move, man. They got skill, speed, tape to tape, end to end. They can score on you in a second from 200 feet away. But this Chicago Cougars team, they want to keep that contained. 3 blocks of ice. O-zone, D-zone, center ice. You want to make each a difficult place to play for the other side.
Yeah, that's the way you muck it up if you're the Chicago Cougars. That's the way you keep your momentum rolling. The Midwest West is turning into a pretty high-flying division right now. You know, you always think traditionally Midwest hockey is a little bit heavy-hitting, but these guys are bringing the offense as well. And, you know, we talk about, you know, getting into the X's and O's a little bit, 3 separate blocks of ice. And we had a great time in Richmond this weekend, and you know, talking to RC Like about it, and he's an X's and O's guy too, and he, you know, his insights into the game of hockey were just incredible, and I think what him and I talked about, I think we can really apply to the power rankings that are coming up, especially in the Midwest. But I think for now, speaking of RC Like in the Southeast, we're going to take another quick trip down to Richmond.
Welcome to the Empty Net.
Well, we're back now. It was the Empty Net graphic, and for those of you who are thinking you were just going to talk about the Southeast, what's up with the Empty Net? Well, the Southeast is our Empty Net, because we were just down at a fan appreciation night down in Richmond, Virginia, and they rolled out the red carpet.
Yeah, man, fan appreciation night. I was more calling it Dan appreciation night when we got there. It was such a good time. We were signing autographs for folks. We got a chance to meet everyone in the Richmond hockey community and see just an absolute love, an all-time record in ticket sales there for the Richmond Generals organization. Place was packed. It was packed to the freaking gills, man. It was so good. Yeah, and then we got a chance to meet folks like Natalie Calabet, who is a big-time local news star with ABC8. And then also we got to meet Jeff Katz, who in the radio game is one of the best right now doing it. I mean, and he was listening to us all game long, and he said, no kidding, man. You, right meow, are one of the best broadcasting groups in the game. And I'll tell you, Lucas, meow more than ever, I'm just excited about it.
You know what? It was such a great experience, too. I mean, we got to talk to players and parents and coaches, and, you know, I got to do my on-ice interviews, which I love doing, right, in the intermissions. And every time I went down there to kind of wait, you know, there was, like, a Richmond Generals premier player who was like, hey, man, like, how's it going? You had a couple of parents come up to us, like, talking to us about hockey, you know, thanking us for being down there. I mean, and thank you guys for having us. We had a blast. I mean, we'd love to come back down. You never have to give us an excuse to head south, especially during hockey season.
And that Richmond Elite team, man, we talked about a 2-1 win. Those are some cool cats down the stretch, man. They were keeping pucks out of the net. They were absolutely on all 4, man. They were on all 4 paws there at the end of the game. You could see puck going at the net, bodies in front, a 6-on-3 situation, and meow more than ever, these guys are dominating when they need to, going into the playoffs, going into the postseason. This Richmond Elite team may just be the best team in the Elite right now.
Yeah, and talk about a team with 9 lives. I mean, right at the end of that Elite game, they were just throwing body on top of body to try to keep that puck out of the net.
Yep.
One of the best games we've seen all season, and you know, we had a ton of Twitter interaction from it, and you know, too much to mention it all. But Dan, I know you had a couple of favorites you wanted to point out.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you see, one thing I really wanted to point out, a guy we talked to earlier in the show, Coach Henkel, talking about the Pittsburgh Vengeance and how well they've been doing lately with David Dorsey there. And you like to see the shout-outs with the NCDC teams going down to the Premier and Elite, because that's the whole point of this feeder model. And You can see the vengeance, that whole system, the pipeline up to the NCDC Connecticut Junior Rangers working very well there. Other than that, my favorite GIF of all time, the raccoon rolling down the hallway, was sent to us. That made me very happy. A lot of love from Natalie Calabit there with the Richmond General's local news. And, you know, just Coach Clay even said he's ready to listen to this one, fellas. He was very excited about the Lucas J. Show.
Yeah, it's always interesting to get that Coach Clay popping up on your feed, and you go, oh, okay.
Coach Clay, program
get that.
University of Kentucky hockey. These guys they're just the best, just the best.
You know, Southeast hockey right now, they have absolutely planted a space for them in this hockey culture. They are cultivating these players. They are growing them from the ground up, and eventually, you know, these guys, they're going to move on to the next level. And I have no doubt that all these Southeast and especially the Florida teams as well, you know, they are some top-notch hockey, and they grow the game really well down there. They're really concerned about moving these kids on to the next level, making sure they get an education, making sure they're still playing hockey, and above all, making sure they're still having fun.
Really, and that's what it's about. It's about growing these kids. You look at someone like RC Like, we got a great chance to really spend some time with this weekend, who's got guys doing some contracting work to get used to other things you can do outside of hockey, to show why you love the game, to show that you can help the community, right? Has him working to help his community there. And they're working in different shelters and working with the ASPCA in the area. It's amazing to see the growth of not just the player on the ice, but the growth of the player off the ice that happens down there in the Southeast with both the Florida and Southeast divisions.
And folks, as always, you can find us on social media platforms, The Dan K Show on Facebook, @the_Dan K Show on Twitter and Instagram. As always, want to thank producer Lana for making that Instagram a million times better than it could be with either one of us two idiots on that thing. You can tell when she took over if you go back in the Instagram timeline. You can tell the exact moment in time when it stopped being myself and started being producer Lana, so we're so happy to have that. Dan, as always, is on the Twitter. When you're on Twitter, you're talking to Dan. He's the one who's got the gifts, and he's got the jokes, and he's got everything. And then if you're reaching out on Facebook, you're most likely talking to me over there. I've got your operations. I try as best as I can to handle some of the technical stuff and getting those clips pulled that you want, get them pulled from Hockey TV. So we're doing our best. We hope you guys enjoy the show as always. Dan, I know that you are so well known for your descriptions coming into games. That my description is your right-hand man. It seems to get longer every week, and you know, you just have such a way with words. So you want to close out this one?
I actually do have parting words.
And that's it for us here at the Dan K Show. My name is Lucas Jones. That was Dan K over there. You know, this was the Lucas J version of the show. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I did as well. And see you next time.
I had really good parting words.
Yeah?
They were really good.
Yeah, they were good.
They were very good. Very good parting words. You'll hear them next week, folks.
Yeah. Well,
if things go back to normal.
If it makes you feel any better, I had parting words.
You gotta be kidding me with this.
When Lucas J is on the mic, Dan probably lost a bet.
That counts as parting words, by the way. You lost our bet.
It's my show. There's no bet. I make the rules on the show. It's my show this week.
Not anymore. Clock ran out. We just said goodbye.
Still rolling. Camera hasn't stopped. As soon as once the camera stops, show's over.
I just hit Baby Hank. That's how mad I am.
You apologize to Baby Hank.
No way.
Apologize to real Hank.
No way.
I'm sorry, Hank.
I'm not.